So today we are making lentil and tasso soup. Check it out. Oh yeah, that's right. We're making this today because it's delicious, it's wonderful, it's easy to make, it's rich and savory and flavorful. I'm gonna take a little bite because it's delicious. Oh my God. This was a fan favorite at our restaurant. We serve this like 3 or 4 times a week. And it's freaking amazing. You can't go wrong with this. This period. It's delicious. Delicious and nutritious. Alright, let's get into the recipe. Alright, so here are the ingredients for our lentil and tasso soup. We have 7 cups of unsalted chicken stock. We have 11 ounces of tasso. We have 1 pound of brown lentils, 2 tablespoons vegetable oil, half a teaspoon dried thyme, 1 teaspoon of Lucky Cajun Black Label, garlic, bay leaf, bell pepper, yellow onion, and a stalk of celery. Let's start with the celery. You're going to run down the length of it like so. And we get nice little small dices out of it. And they go poop, poop, poop. Super easy, not complicated, not chefy. So now we're going to do our onion. I saved these little ends here for stock. Just give them that. Save that. Move that out of the way. The peels I also save for stock, so I just end up putting them in a bag in the freezer. And just whenever I got enough bones and veggies, I go for it. And we're going to go like so. And then like so. This is the easiest way I've found to cut a bell pepper. See, it kind of has 4 sides. Use those as your line, your cut line, and just go like this. And then down here, we're going to cut that. So now we got, make sure you peel out these little bits of white pithy stuff. And then we're going to dice those up nice and small, like the other veggies. Please do not use pre-cut canned garlic or jarred garlic. It's just not the same. It doesn't taste as good. This is way better. It's easy to do. Smash it like so. Take each clove and then bash like so. Right? Get those out of the way. Then we're going to take a couple of cloves over here and do this with the whole head because I love garlic. If you don't like as much garlic, you know, I get it, but this is flavor. Garlic is easy, flavorful, it's cheap. And we're just gonna chop it up. Just keep running over it with your knife until it's, and it doesn't have to be like perfect. It doesn't have to be tiny and fine, but don't use the cheap garlic. Don't use the pre-made garlic. It's just not, it's not the same thing. All right, so here's our tasso. I like to cut it into like kind of bigger pieces. So as you can see, it's kind of got some fat in there. It's smoky, it's cured. It's super delicious. So I'm just gonna cut it like that. Nice big pieces, so when I get a bite of it, I can know I'm tasting the tasso. Still gonna season the soup nicely. You can substitute bacon, ham, and andouille. Just be aware that bacon and ham don't add any spice really, but they might add a little more salt. So when you're adjusting it, use the salt-free Lucky Cajun seasoning. That way you don't oversalt your food. Yeah. It's easy to cut. Once again, this is not about it being perfect or whatever. If you're looking for where to buy this, you can get it at como.com. I make my own because I love doing that. I might teach y'all how to do that one day. But today Just gonna suggest finding it online. It's available online, shipping anywhere in the country. All right, here we go. Now we're gonna start the cooking process. We're gonna add that oil. And here, make sure your pan is nice and hot, so that way we get some good searing action on the sauteing action on the veggies. You can hear them. You can hear them sizzle. That means your pan's hot enough. If you pour it in there and the onion or the oil in there and it's smoking like crazy, you might want to turn it down. But there's that. So this is our onion, garlic, celery, green bell pepper. And we're just going to cut this down and get a little color on it. This is where we develop flavor, right? So right now it's important that we take the time to saute these and get some color on them, develop the sweetness. The end result is going to be far superior than if you just dumped everything in there right now. You could, it would still be good, but this step is important. Do not skip it. All right, so see how we got some color on there? It's sweated down a little bit. This is super important. Now we're gonna add the tasso. We're gonna sear that off a little bit in there, saute it up a little bit. It's gonna activate those smoky flavors, those spicy flavors. Now, let's just say, for some reason, you don't like meat, you don't eat meat, for religious purposes or lifestyle choices. That's fine. We could add mushrooms to this. We could add turnips. We could add carrots. We could add rutabagas. You can add anything in here. Just know that when you take out the tasso, you're going to have to add more salt. Or if you take out any of the cured pork products, you're going to have to add more salt somewhere to make it taste good. Because salt brings all those flavors to life. Just keep stirring. Just keep going. You got to keep moving it. Now I'm using a cast iron pot here, enamel. It's a 6-quart pot. You need at least a 6-quart pot. I wouldn't go like into a 20-quart pot because it'd just be a tiny amount of soup in there. And yes, the fancy fun spoon makes it taste better. No, just kidding. But having fun, nice tools while you're cooking, you know, it makes it more pleasurable. It's like, hey, look, I get to play with my fun little toys. But you don't need this stuff to make great soup. It's just, I love cooking and I love fun tools. All right, so now we've at the point where everything is sauteed up. All right, so keep going. We're gonna add our stock. There we go. We're gonna add our pound of lentils, brown lentils. I wouldn't recommend using like any other lentils. You can maybe use green lentils, but don't use any other stuff because they either cook too quick or they don't get creamy. So here's our Lucky Cajun Black Labels seasoning, a teaspoon, excuse me, half a teaspoon of thyme, and a bay leaf. And then we're gonna bring this up to a simmer, stirring it up. Keep stirring, get all these little bits down in there. You know, that's all flavor. All that adds up. Think of every step as adding to the flavor. Like sauteing the onions and vegetables, sauteing the meat, adding all the ingredients, making a good stock, simmering it up. It all equals something greater than the steps that you're taking. And this is what chefs like inherently know just through time and practice. But really, anybody can do this. No one was born with the ability to learn how to cook, and we all learn how to do it somewhere. All right. So now we want to make sure that everything is brought up to a nice simmer. I'm going to put the lid on. Call it 30 minutes. I'm going to turn it down a little slightly. You don't want it to be on high heat while it's simmering. 30 minutes and we will be done. So we're about 30 minutes in. We're going to check it out. Ooh, look at that. So that's looking good. So you could serve this over rice. You could serve this over grits. You could serve this with a piece of toasted bread. You can serve it as a side. Some roast chicken. And it is awesome. So we're going to serve up a bowl of this right now. I don't have a ladle. I didn't bring a ladle up here. But you can always use your trusty Lucky Cajun mug for scooping out soup. All right. So let's get it. Oh my God. This looks freaking amazing. So if you want it to get a little more, this is kind of brothy, but you could, mash it up a little bit and get a little more creaminess. But as you see, this is amazing. Let's get a little spoon here. Oh wait, we don't want to use that little spoon. That's silly. We need a big spoon for big flavor. Look at that. Delicious, wonderful lentil tasso soup. Now let's see, leave these big plunk. A lot of flavors come out of these chunks of meat, but you got nice chunks in there, so when you bite into them, you're going to taste it. You're going to get that same experience if you use the root vegetables.